don't even show up.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have a special council meeting first, and then we will have a meeting of the whole to review the draft of the 2026 budget following. We do have several guests joining us this afternoon, so thank you for being here. If you plan to speak during the public hearing portion, please come to the podium and state your name and address. And I have asked Mr. Brewer to lead us in our invocation and Mr. Challenberg to lead us in our pledge. Please stand.
Our dear Father, we're so thankful that we have this privilege to meet together to discuss items that affect the citizens of our town. And we pray you'll be with us in all the discussions that we have. Help us to be open-minded. Help us to have true care in our hearts for the people here. We thank you for Searcy, for the great place it is to live, and we thank you for blessing us all as you have. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. We'll call the special council meeting to order. Jason, please call the roll when you're ready.
Mr. Kirkman?
Here.
Mr. Morris?
Here.
Mr. Howell?
Here.
Mr. Carter? Here. Mrs. Hale?
Here.
Mr. Raines?
Here.
Mr. Brewer?
Here.
Mr. Challenberg?
Here.
We have only one item on the agenda for the special council meeting. That is an ordinance amending Searcy zoning code and Searcy land use development and subdivision regulations.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
could speak. I'm the one who asked to have it on the agenda in a special meeting. Subject to confirmation is one thing. I'm going to ask the city attorney here in just a second. I think this item needs to be tabled to allow further discussion on the council, the planning commission, and other interested parties. I think there's some ground that can be covered that might alleviate the need for that ordinance or change its wording a little bit. Mr. Moore, is it correct? Do I understand that the owner of the lot in Faculty Edition that requested the division has asked that request to the Planning Commission be tabled until the December meeting?
That's correct.
And in your opinion, does that mean that this 45-day thing will not take effect? It's tabled and won't be addressed by the Planning Commission until December?
I can't speak for how the planning commission will vote on the request,
No,
but yes.
I'm not asking that.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, if they tabled it, that would be taking action to
Okay.
delay it for a month.
So it won't be automatically approved after 45 days?
That's right.
There's been a lot of emails back and forth, which is great. We've got some discussion. I still think we've got some disagreement. But I saw a copy of, but haven't received, there was a letter apparently addressed to you and the council members from one of the planning commission members, the architect with Harding. If I had to read it on my, do we have all that information for us?
I do have a copy of the letter from Mr. Sparks. Is that the one you're referring? I do have a copy of that. We can make copies and circulate that for the council if you have not received it.
I have no idea.
Okay.
None of us have.
Okay.
None of us have received anything, but my point is not only Mr. Sparks, but other discussions have pointed out some things that we might need to explore a little bit about what my proposed ordinance would affect or not affect. And now that that change in that lot won't happen until possibly December, I would like to table this request.
Okay. Is that a motion to table it till
Yes.
December? We have a motion by Mr. Rainey.
Second.
We have a second by Mrs. Hale. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Kirkman?
Yes.
Mr. Morris?
Yes.
Mr. Howell?
Yes.
Mr. Cardle?
Yes.
Mrs. Hale?
Yes.
Mr. Rainey?
Yes.
Mr. Brewer?
Yes.
Mr. Challenger?
Yes.
Okay, that is the only agenda item, so if there's no further discussion on this, we'll table that till December. We'll get the letter out to the council as well as any other correspondence that we've received. All right? Special council meeting is adjourned. We'll wait just a few minutes, and then we'll get ready for the meeting of the whole.
Yeah, there's one strawberry left. I got. No, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just kidding. Mr. Mayor, how are you? Good, how are you? Good. Don't let. Well, that's a whole nother issue. That's a whole nother issue.
I keep scooting back on you.
Correct. We requested that before.
Okay. Jason, you good? All right, we'll call this committee of the whole meeting to order for October 29th, 2025. I want to thank our department heads and Jason and staff and everyone who has worked hard on getting this draft together. This is a first draft. This is the first time that these numbers are being handed to the council, so we anticipate questions, discussion, notes moving forward. And Jason, you're going to guide this ship this afternoon. So just kind of set the groundwork for the goal for the day, and then we'll get rolling.
Okay. As you have before you the agenda, just want to point out that today I wanted to give you an overarching look at everything that's been turned in so far. I wanted to include every expense that's been asked for, every capital expenditure that's been asked for, and show you what it would be if the world was a pot of gold, you know, and then we can see how things are pared down with the different capital needs, things like that that we can prioritize. I have gone through, let's just start at the first page, the 2026 General Fund Budget Summary. I have forecasted and sort of projected around a 2% increase in your base revenues, which include your taxes, your court fees and fines, parks and rec revenues, sanitation revenues, monies we receive on permits and licenses, and then interest on our money, and then other income that's traditionally there annually. In 2025, those items were budgeted at 27.7. It looks as though we'll come in a little over 28 million for a 25 projection, 28.118. The 26 budget projects out, when you do like a 2% increase, you account for a new Aldi store, a new Cheddar's, a new Kia dealership. We've researched their opening dates, tried to put the sales tax in for those remaining months to get that prorated in there. looking back over a year, that should go up about $100,000. And the way the calculations have changed to our favor. The Parks and Recreation, the tournaments, the concessions, just enormous growth there. We have a lot of things that have contributed to increasing that revenue projection up to $29.75 million for the year. Below in the summary section, you have each department's submitted expenses, and we'll go through each department here in just a minute to give you a summary look at those and give the department heads an opportunity to speak to their budget if you have a question. The reason you see a orange column, which is labeled full, versus a limited column, which is green. Originally, when I put this together, the column that says full includes every Parks and Rec department position that was asked for. So if you fully funded Parks and Rec, that's what it would look like on the left column. But I know that we've trimmed that back, and so your green column is essentially the only difference showing those positions pulled out, okay? And they're highlighted. The difference of those changes went from 3.5 in Parks down to 3.3 in the expense. So either way you look at it, you're going to have excess revenues over expenses before capital of around $2.5 million, $2.6 million. And after the capital requests that have been also noted as needs across the city, you're looking at about $1.3 million in excess revenues. So, anybody have a question on that summary page? The second page is, as you know, each department has 6 categories: a personnel category, a building and grounds category, a vehicle, a supply, a department expense category, and a capital category. I've broken down the budget by section for you so that you can see what percentage of your budget each department takes up in personnel or supplies or capital, for you to review that as well. If anything stands out and you want to ask about it at any time, stop me.
Jason, just as a note, by far, you know, the biggest changes are going to be with regard to personnel costs and specifically our safety personnel departments, correct?
Yes. The driver of the changes from 25 to 26 are the personnel costs that we've been throwing around. We've tried to work in there for everyone to have a minimum of 3% increase, and as you said, our safety departments are a little higher than that. Just trying to get to like Pier City comps and things like that, trying to find a fair balance for our people versus peer cities in the state. And you'll see that reflected as we go into each department's budget. But I found, after asking all the department heads to submit their projected expenses for next year, nothing seemed unreasonable. Some even shrank their budget some. We've got some good innovation in this budget. We have tried to build into the budget the replacement of vehicles because we've talked about that over time, how rather than doing a big chunk of things at once, we want to try to get this into a routine replacement system. And so I've got that in the budget, trying to show you what that would be sort of annualized going forward if we replace the same amount of things in the departments each time. I was proud of your city department heads for what they've done on their work. To me, it was very good. And you'll hear from them throughout this meeting tonight. I'd like to now go into the following pages after those 2 summary sheets and kind of go in order of the way the departments are expensed. On that summary sheet, the first department was the mayor's department. just, what I've done is I've created this for each department with some budget notes to show you what the highlights of the changes or needs are in their department. For example, the mayor's budget this year went down by $600,000 in his department. We've increased some maintenance expense on the Lytle Center. There's been some planning for some grand opening events as these new areas are opening. The Economic Development Fund was decreased because we had raised that last year for the airport hangar that came out of that. And there is an addition of $20,000 that includes El Puente and the Child Safety Center. And you do have a request letter from the Child Safety Center and a supporting letter from Chief Hernandez supporting that ask. So we've put that in. Again, I've put everything in so you can see if we did everything, what the bottom line is. So there should be no additional surprises thrown in later. This is the max, or I would hope it would be the absolute max you would expend in the year if everything went as planned.
Jason, can we ask questions as we go, or you want to say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to do them one at a time.
I'm just curious, the nearly $600,000 decrease in the mayor's, is that because we moved Richard?
No, it's the economic development funds. Remember, we had some remaining funds that were not spent in 2023, and then we did the airport hangar. So I'd say, what, around 400,000 of that is
was
the
420 of the 6.
of it, yeah. And then also, we had some facility.
And one position change, one shift out of his department under me.
And then the facility for the city hall, although we're just getting later in the year, we haven't done all of the improvements that we were hoping to get accomplished this year, so it may roll over.
Okay.
And one point of clarification too, Jason, just on that note number 3, the grand opening, I believe that's actually for next year's the 250th anniversary of the United States. And
Right.
yeah, so we're anticipating some costs with regard to that initiative along with the state.
For what? Is there a specific celebration, or just the entire year?
Yeah, just throughout the year.
Okay.
Just again, so we have things planned for and are not coming back asking for additional funds.
Yeah, that was one thing that was brought to my attention too. We'd like to build this so that there's not a lot of monthly asks for things. And so I'd like to have it here for you that if it's reasonable and you think it's reasonable, and just not have to make that such a highlight at our monthly council meetings. But again, that would be determined by your decisions on that. The next sheet is on the library. They have asked for an increase to their funding agreement. The list, I gave you a list of employees that was sent to me late this afternoon, and I'm honestly not had a lot of time to look at that. I don't know if they're gone.
Yeah, I've got you covered, Jason.
Okay.
Darla just walked in.
Yes.
Darla, thank you for being here. So this was a request previously made to the city, just so the council knows at this time, these funds are not included in the current draft of the budget. And so Darla, if you wanted to share a few words on the request, this was, I believe, tabled in the past.
That's correct, yes, I came in February of last year and requested it's $105,000. You'll have that on the paper there in front of you. Anyway, and so that was ultimately tabled. And so we're here in October. We actually are operating on a line of credit right now. With millage, our funding mostly comes in a big check in November. So, because we started the year with so much in the bank, we're using those funds, and then when we get to about September, it's always like scrambling until we get to that November payment. But, and we don't know what the year's going to end up still. We don't know, but we know if we have, if it was what the projection says that we have, which often is pretty close. Sometimes they may be a little off, but it's usually not by a whole lot. But last, we just can't do that, so, what I'm saying, at the beginning of the year, you know, that fund, so, we just would love to have that, and I feel like, you know, I hope you all received, I sent out a graphic with the statistics for the first year. If you don't have one of those, I did bring some extras of those. It's going very well. I mean, I would like to keep things as they are. We did cut back some Monday hours, we did that one thing, and we didn't get a whole lot of negative things about that. But I feel like if we cut an overnight or cut a whole day, I think that that's gonna be an impact. And I feel like it's a small request considering the whole huge budget of the city, but it's a big important, it makes a big impact to us and what we're able to do at the library.
Darla, were other financing or other revenue sources investigated, like from the county or from fundraising?
Yes, I have gone to what it would require is going to the voters for a millage increase. And first of all, we have to have money to figure out, to even do a campaign, like, you know, to be on the ballot. We have to raise funds and figure out a way to get it on the ballot. And then I don't think our JPs feel like they are willing to voluntarily do that, which they could, but, and I have asked, I have actually went to the court board, actually back in, much earlier in the year, and played my case, you know, there, so, but, you know, that's a really big thing to do, try to do on the voters. It's not necessarily a popular thing, people don't want to.
Well, I wasn't necessarily talking about a millage increase, but just
General fund.
asking them for the $105,000 from the county or a portion thereof.
They will do things, they won't do operating money. I mean, they're great, like, and I actually, it's already been, I've got a non-mandated request in this sending for this next year. They are wonderful to fund things like shelving or, you know, things in the budget, parts of those things like, you know, technology stuff. I always give them our entire technology budget. They seem like that's something they, you know, like to do. So that helps, but there's only some of it, but not for ongoing, staff funding, which is what we would use this money.
Thank you, Darla. I will point out that there is around a $30,000 increase in this department, and that is to go toward building and grounds upkeep, to reflect, I guess, the more current actual costs going into the facility.
So it's $30,000 in the budget, and then
That's right. $30,100 is in the budget, but this staffing, I guess it would be staffing request for 105 is not in the budget currently.
Because I believe that's a separate, well, I mean, I guess it's part of that budget, but we have a library staff funding agreement, and that's what we're looking at. And then there's, of course, you have the other parts, which is like building and grounds and maintenance of the building, right?
Right. That's correct. Okay. Thank you, Darla.
The next page is for the district court budget. There was essentially no change to this department in what was budgeted outside of the personnel changes. And then I'll talk about the revenue side of courts here in just a minute, when we get to Will's department. Let's move on to the police one.
Okay.
The police budget has gone up from 2025 by about $450,000. There's some increases in building and grounds, some added money asked for subscriptions for their GPS in their cars, the block system, leads online, et cetera. Built into the police budget is the replacement of 8 vehicles. Also an expense for a second dog to add to the canine program, and then maintenance of those 2 dogs. And some, Chief Fernandez, you may speak to the Axon, the expenses that we're trying to figure out with the video equipment, the body cameras, the tasers.
Is the new dog just lonely? He needs a,
Well, no, so the thing with the dog is we got an opportunity to, we had some equipment donated, that would go toward a second dog, and, for, I think it's $22,000 is what I'm asking for, to get a second dog. Instead of having one dog for the whole city, we'd have one dog a day. They would be on opposite rotations, so we would, 7 days a week, we would have a dog. Now, they may be on night shift or day shift, we don't know at that time. It'd give us a dog 7 days a week. The guy that would be getting the dog, he already works with our current canine, helping with the training of our current canine of Havoc. So, he's already kind of trained, per se.
Can you give us a little background on Havoc and what he's been doing and had, like, has it been productive? I mean,
Yes.
kind of give us a,
I don't have like case by case, but yes, he's been productive. He's been, right now, because we are a little short staffed, instead of just kind of being free to do whatever, he is assigned to a shift, but he's still managing to, catch bad guys and find drugs. He's, the second dog that we're looking at would not be the type that Havoc is, he's a little different. Havoc will chase you down, bite you, and hold you there, where this other one would chase you down and sit on you, basically. He's not gonna be a bite dog.
All right, any other questions for Chief? Thank you.
And as a reminder, I'm going to give each of you a take-home packet of line-by-line departments. If you're the type of person who likes to look at every line item, you'll be able to take that home with you.
Jason, real quick before we move on to the next department, can we go
Yes.
back to that cover sheet, the general fund budget summary?
Okay?
Near the bottom where it says excess revenue over expenses, if you look at the police line, it shows $809,300. Can you clarify what that number is? It's,
My work packet. That includes the $432,000 for vehicle replacements. I did $275 on the TASER program just as an estimate. If he can work that down to that, there's $59,000 in a 911 upgrade. And then there is $20,000 for shotguns to replace those that are malfunctioning, and then $22,000 for the dog.
But that figure of 809 is not in the budget summary.
It should be. Yeah, those items are pulled out and listed in the capital ask down at the bottom.
Okay.
Those are things that we could take out, delay, put on hold.
I'm sorry, what 911 upgrades?
That's what the line item is called. I think that's part of the subscription between our current and moving into the,
We may be able to scratch that one.
okay,
What's the number on that code?
50, the number on the code. It is 060-5317.
Chief Hernandez, the shotguns, talk to us about the shotguns, 'cause
That was in my
Not that-
request for 25 as well. I believe all of our shotguns are older than a certain percentage of my officers. They're anywhere from 25 years old to 38 years old for shotguns. It's to replace all 21 or 22 of them, it's about 20,000.
so they carry those in the trunk of the car?
Right. I'm sorry, what was that number?
5317. increased maintenance this next year on their 3 stations. Their capital expenditures that they've asked for, we've got those budgeted out of the general fund and the Act 833 fund, so they do not affect this general fund total. And they did a good job of reducing their overtime for this budget as well. They dropped it from 90 down to 80. So, good job there. There really wasn't a lot of big change in the fire request other than the salary adjustments that have been figured into this. Any questions on fire? Next is the Parks and Rec, and I believe Mike and Damon are going to present to you on this one before we take a look at it.
So in the email the other day, you got what looks like the same packet you're getting received now, but after some feedback and some words of wisdom, we changed it a little bit. And so some of the numbers are scaled down, some of the employee numbers are scaled down, so this is the most up-to-date packet we have. And Mr. Kirkman, I know one of your emails, you were asking, like, what can we expect going into the future? We know we're gonna have upcoming costs, personnel, the whole 9 yards, so we kind of want to give you a quick presentation. I'm gonna handle the full-time employee side, Dana's gonna handle the part-time employee side. Derek is also here, the 3 of us can answer any questions you may have. And again, take this home, look over it. I would ask if you have any questions, try to hold them towards the end. If you're the boss, you can ask whatever you want, whenever you want. But hopefully we'll be able to answer some of those throughout the presentation also. So I'm not gonna fly through this, but I'm gonna try to hit some of the high points so everyone's aware and we're all on the same page moving forward. So you gonna go there first? So I'm going to read through this real quickly because this is kind of why we're doing this packet and why we've poured months into this. I know some people may not realize that we've been working on this every single week. So the city of Searcy has made a historic investment investing through future recent bond initiative that fund construction multiple state-of-the-art recreational facilities. These facilities represent more than just buildings. They are community assets designed to enrich the lives and promote the health and wellness of our community. Ensuring that each of these facilities reaches maximum community impact goes well beyond the construction phase, but continuing with ongoing maintenance, diverse programming, and continuing community engagement. To protect and maximize the city's investments, the Parks and Recreation Department is committed to the following. 1, exceptional maintenance, ensuring each space remains safe, clean, fully operational, preserving the city's financial investment for decades to come. 2, maximum utilization, developing diverse programs and recreational opportunities that ensure each facility is accessible, welcoming, and used to its fullest potential by citizens of all ages and abilities. And 3, continual outreach, promoting health, recreation, and quality of life through well-managed events, leagues, and community events. To achieve all these objectives, it is essential that adequate and capable staff are hired and retained. Managers, coordinators, maintenance staff, support personnel are required to bring these facilities to life. Investing in the right staff ensures the city of Searcy's investment is not only maintained but multiplied, producing long-term benefits for the well-being, health, and ongoing enjoyment of our community. I know I just said a lot right there, but that's kind of why we're doing what we do. At Parks and Rec, this is why we do what we do. It's quality of life, it's provided for our citizens. So if you want to go to the next one, this is kind of how we picture our future org chart once the aquatics is done, once the community center is done, community center ramp, once all that is complete, this is kind of what we're looking at. And we'll have some benchmarks to show you how we compare to other cities when it comes to this also. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We already have 11 of these spots right now, so we are thinking forward into the future when we replace Ms. Barbara and Mr. JC. We change those positions into positions that we need going forward into the new facility. So we try to do as much as we can with what we already have. You wanna go to the next one? This is not.
Mike, I'm sorry, just look, can you go
Yes, sir.
back one?
Yes, sir.
Can you talk through real quick, just the
Sure.
number, the bullets over there on the side?
Absolutely. So once we are fully staffed, operational and open, and hopefully summer of '27 in that area, we'll have a total of 21 full-time employees, 11 new positions, 2 manager positions, and 9 entry-level positions. Now remember, I'm just here speaking on full-time positions right now. Damon is gonna hit part-time here in a moment, which will include contract labor also. Anything else? I mean, we can go back to this, too. That's not a problem at all. If you want to go to the next one there. This is a position we will hopefully ask for in 2027, not this year. This will be one of our manager positions. Pretty much they're running the day-to-day. You can see on the order chart from the last page, everything they would be over. You want to go to the next one, please? Recreation manager is something we are asking for in 2026, and you'll see here in a moment the positions we're asking for in 2026 and what we're asking for in 2027, just so we don't come to you with all the positions and all the needs at one time. We're trying to split it up, but we also want to ask for the positions that can be used right now, not that they're just sitting around doing nothing. So the recreation manager is develop a growing robust program division, ensure full utilization of all sports courts, ball fields, aerobic areas, pickleball courts, and other recreational spaces, oversee all the department's programs, baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, pickleball, the ranks fitness classes, other year-round programs. They would oversee 3 full-time program coordinators as well as 2 groundskeepers. Oversee the hiring and training of over 75 umpires and referees and over 40+ concession workers every single year. In short, that position will be backfilling Damon. So Damon will be coming on full-time as assistant director, helping me, and that person will be running the sports over the programmers. So if there's events going on, things of that nature, that person would kind of be heading that and using the programmers to help with, well, for big events, everyone's on board. But they're over the groundskeepers who would be working on the ball fields, current ball fields, as well as the new turf fields coming. And the programmers will be doing year-round programs, sports, kids classes, adults classes, the whole 9 yards. So that is one of the positions that we're asking for this year. If you want to go to the next one, please. So when it's all said and done in 2027, before we open, this is the entry-level positions we'll have. We'll have 2 front desks. We'll have 2 custodians. These are, remember, these are full-time. 2 custodials, 2 staff, facility staff / monitors. We have 100,000 square feet. We're going to have people walking around, making sure things are going smoothly, breaking down rooms, setting things up, keeping an eye on things for safety purposes also. And then the other positions we're asking for this year are the 2 groundskeepers for the ball fields. And then in 27, we would ask for a program coordinator also. This one is a little hard to read, and please take this home and digest this for a little bit and contact us with any questions you may have. It's a little hard to read right now too, but it's kind of the rundown. Just kind of talks about on your left side, what those managers would make. Right now, we have a pool manager. We do not have an aquatics manager because our aquatics outdoor is not open. And so that's what we would be shooting for when we open the aquatics section. On your right side, now if you look in the middle, sorry, I'm trying to speed through a lot because I know we've got 10 minutes to do this, but everything in white is what we currently have. Everything highlighted is what we would be asking for before the opening of the facility.
When you're saying highlighted, you're talking about in the blue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mike, just real quick, can you give a quick overview on how did y'all come up with the staffing model?
Sure.
I think that's important to understand.
Yeah, yeah. So we reached out, both of us as well as Derek did actually a ton of it, and reached out to other facilities, other cities that are gonna offer what we're gonna offer. And like we went to Benton, we got their order chart and went off that. Cabot's, and we did Jacksonville, we did Bryant, we did Benton, who am I forgetting?
There's 5 municipalities.
Russell.
So it's modeled after other communities
Yes,
who run
sir.
similar
Yes, sir.
facilities. Okay.
Yes, sir.
A lot
like-sized scale than the others that offer less than we do. And you'll see that.
Yes, we're gonna be offering a lot more than a lot of cities
So,
in the state right now.
in propose, like the aquatics manager,
Yes, sir.
when are you proposing to hire the aquatics manager? Did I miss that?
2027. And it wouldn't have to be right at the beginning of 27, but enough time to get them trained to be able to run the new aquatics facility. If we don't hire from within, that
That's-
position will be opened up.
So that's not on the 26 budget?
No, sir. No, sir. There's only 3 positions on the 26 budget, 2 grounds maintenance, and then a recreation director. That's all for 2026. The rest will be 2027.
And a lot of that grounds maintenance right now is being handled through contract labor,
And Damon?
and so that'll be offset.
Yes, sir. Some. We do have a whole lot of tournaments coming this year.
We do have an increase in contract labor by $68,000 for this previous year.
It's,
That's because we're hosting 14 additional tournaments.
there's a lot of people coming in this city this year. So to answer your question, Mr. Carlos, this is what we're asking for this year and next year. Maybe y'all can read yourself, but we looked through these already. If you want to jump to the next page, this is kind of how, this one's a little neat. So if you look at the top line, this is currently, right now, Parks and Rec has 10 full-time employees for $450,000. What we're proposing after everything is open is a total of 21 full-time employees at $900,000. So that just kind of shows you, if you want to look at other cities that we're kind of compared to, how many full-time people they have and what their full-time numbers are also.
If we remember a year ago when we started this conversation, we talked about the 1.5 million earmark to fund all of this. We originally were sitting 30 to 34 positions.
Correct.
Over the last 4 to 6 months, Derek, myself, and Mike have dwindled that down from that 32 to 34 positions to 21. So, when you see 21, go ahead, Derek.
A middle road approach is what was actually kind of taken, and I think that reflects that a little bit, as far as in comparison to other parks departments inside Central Arkansas.
I would fully anticipate at the end of 28 going into 29, probably gonna have to up that up. But we're starting out at the very bare minimum to facilitate running this operation.
We're not asking for bare bones to get all this going, but we're not asking for sky's the limit either. We're trying to be realistic here. And if later on down the road, we create enough revenue and see enough people coming in with memberships, then maybe we have to add some more staff later on.
Any questions on this slide, comparison slide?
All right, the next one, I'm gonna cover this one, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Damon, because you're gonna see a lot of numbers coming up. And Matt's not my best son, so we're gonna Damon take those last few ones. So right here is how we kind of compare bid management wise. If you look on the top left, that's Cersei, that's currently what we have, and then aquatics manager. We don't have, the rest of those. What we're proposing would be on the right side. We still would, after this year, we would have the aquatics, the pool manager, the community center manager, that's not right.
It is.
Yes, okay, and the recreation manager. And then if you look at the other 4, our other benchmarks, you can see what they already have. The only difference is Bryant, because Bryant doesn't run any sports. They are like what we were. Yeah, they have associations, as we used to, and we're starting. And the plan is to take on more and more. So that's the only difference in all those. The rest of those cities already have all those positions. And we've double checked with their directors on, we have, those were right
They
numbers.
may not be titled exactly the same.
Correct.
But they're functioning in the same roles.
So tell me what the difference is with the red X and the yellow check.
Is we don't have those positions currently in our department, and those other benchmarks and municipalities do have.
It's just kind of providing an example of mid-management and letting y'all see kind of what other cities have in regards to mid-management positions in their departments, and how that reflects to where y'all are now and where you're going, or what's proposed.
And when it comes to salaries, we did benchmarks of all these other cities too, and we got that information before I hand it to Damon. These numbers that we're showing you for salaries are straight salaries. They do not have APRs and things of that in built with, so we would have to, if approved, we would have to get that added to be able to provide y'all those numbers.
They don't include any of the benefits.
No, sir. No, sir.
And what is that, Ms. Kim, roughly 28%, 26?
23%, I think, for papers and, FICA.
But to be clear, the 3 positions for 2026 that are in the budget do include the benefits.
Yes, sir, correct, sorry. And then if you want to go next one, please, sir. This is where Damon is gonna kind of explain where our part-time / contract labor, what our plans are, where we came up with these numbers, and why we came up with these numbers.
Hey, Mr. Kirkman, I'm just gonna slide behind you for a second so I can kind of pull. I'm so sorry if I'm in anybody's way. So I'm gonna start this off from the bottom half before I get to the top half. So the average length of a seasonal operation in aquatics will be 110 days. It's here. Our operational hours will be from 12 to 7 days a week, given 30 minutes on the front end, 30 minutes on the back end for opening and closing, so we're running 8-hour shifts. Contract labor rate for front desk and lifeguard is $15.75 an hour. We can call them contract labor, we can call them part-time, however you word it, however you want, it's still the same. Contract labor rate for janitors will be $15 an hour, and then the contract labor rate for concession, which is the same as the other 4 locations we currently run concessions, is $13 an hour. So with that being said, it takes 18 lifeguards. This is in addition to the indoor facility. It takes an additional 18 lifeguards to man that shift, per shift, an 8-hour shift at a 110-day season at $15.75 an hour. That takes $249,480 to fund those 18 lifeguards. Reality is, those 18 on shift will probably take about 35 to 40 personnel to fill. You know, one lifeguard, hey, I may only be able to come in. Mom and Dad said I can only work 3 hours a day. So you're gonna have a bigger pool to pull from to fill those slots that have to be manned during that 8-hour shift.
But this is for the new aquatic
That's
center.
correct.
Yes, sir, we
Yes.
just wanted to give you a whole overview
Yep.
of what's coming.
Yep. Then the front desk, obviously there'll be 3 people there, so you can kind of see the math, it stays the same. Everything is however many it is for that position on an 8-hour shift of a 110-day season, and those are your dollar amounts to fund that, which is $361,460 to facilitate.
So nutshell, y'all been tasked with coming up with anticipated operational costs for these new facilities. We're kind of graduating into it as we get to 2027, which is the year that they will open. These are anticipated costs. These are labor costs. The next phase that y'all are working on are like operational,
Absolutely.
building facility costs, right? Utilities, that type of thing.
And per request, we will be making monthly updates to the council of where we're at, what we're doing. You're gonna get to see Derek more, so.
Okay.
Any questions on this slide? I'll speed this up. One more slide. Next slide. So down here, so this is where the new community center, operational hours will be from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sunday. That's 95 hours a week we have to fill. The staffing model on that looks like 2 to 3 personnel on the front desk. And what I mean by 2 to 3 personnel, and you're going to see the 2.5 here and here on facility and front desk, is there's gonna be a surge during certain times of the day where it's gonna take 3 people to run that front desk, and out of the slower times when the surge hadn't hit, it'll take 2 personnel. So we did a half on that, 2.5 personnel. That is for front desk and facility staff, and then 1 custodian during operating hours. Custodians will have 2 of those in the workday shifts. A 51-week calendar week, closed for 7 days. Those are the holidays that we'll be closed for. Part-time rate, and you'll see this across the board, $15.75, whether that's for any contract labor, part-time, concessions, is $13 an hour. What we would recommend, so we come up here, we got 95 hours a week, 2.5 personnel, that's 237.5 hours, and then 80 hours of that is fulfilled by full-time. Then you'll see the remaining hours at 51-week operation at $15.75 an hour. And then that's your total dollar amount, budget increase of $280,070. and a surplus of that.
But anticipated increased revenue.
Yes, sir.
I was just gonna ask, is there any way to anticipate what revenue might be along with these expenses?
So on the baseball side, yes, I sent that to you. I think the baseball was, I think it was, I don't know, it's going to be in these work papers.
The hottest sport right now is volleyball, and I can have you numbers on that pretty quickly.
So y'all are tackling this in chunks.
Yes.
Right now, we have anticipated labor costs, we're gonna have anticipated revenue costs, and then anticipated facilities, utilities, that type of thing. So it's all coming.
We just kind of wanted to give you the big
And
overview.
just the 5 fields alone, which the 5 fields comes 56 teams, right? So with the minimum of 5 fields, you're looking at a revenue increase of just that, in addition to the revenue that we currently have of $446,000. It's an additional of $614,000 on just that, on just baseball, softball.
And that's not including tournaments you can host at the ramp, memberships at the swim center, any.
Nothing to do with member, which we're actively working at, and we have a finish date of that of 7 November, I believe, is what we'll have those answers for.
Okay.
7 November.
Yeah, we're hoping to have those to y'all for
Is that right there?
November.
November, okay. I think we discussed 7 November.
So none of this
We're
takes,
driving it, it'll be 7 November, it'll happen.
none of this projection takes into account the full impact of an FTE, benefits, retirement, all this kind
No,
of
sir.
stuff.
On the outdoor aquatic side, that's why I have them put in contract labor, because contract labor, you don't have benefits. A lot of my lifeguards for an hour are on contract labor. And they don't have benefits, so that's why, and how long, we're open for 3 months, more day to Labor Day on aquatics, so is it 3 months straight, you have to offer insurance?
That's, yes, and, well, if they work over, 29 hours in a week, we have to offer them, health coverage, but we can, if they're seasonal and hired with the intention of working less than 90 days, we do not have to pay APRS on them, which is currently 15.32%.
So that's our plan for the aquatic side.
So what's an anticipated date, just so the council knows when we will have, I guess, the full picture as far as estimated revenue, all the facilities, utilities, labor,
First quarter next year.
first quarter of 26?
Yes, sir.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
would you not think it would be advantageous to extend that out with the benefits and with it, those real dollars that we've got to budget?
And you're looking at roughly $94,000.
You know, on a future,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
future spreadsheet for us, extend those on out.
We can get with Ms.
Kim
Kim,
can help
figure
you.
that out, and we will email all of you that
But
information.
like the mayor said, the ones that they're asking for 2026
Are in
in
there.
the second grade
They're in your
do
numbers.
include the benefits. So they're, and then if they, work as contract labor, we don't pay the benefits on them.
Thank you.
All right, as far as the presentation goes?
Presentation, that's all we have. Now we're here to answer questions.
It's a lot to absorb right now, so today is just about presenting information and then give the council time to soak it all in and then write down questions.
Free to ask us.
Do you plan on doing the grounds maintenance with,
Correct, with the 2 additional personnel that we have, yes, sir. Now, will there be a need for more? I think we really don't know that answer until the end of 28, or 29. I mean, originally we had four groundskeepers, just to kind of mirror the rest of the municipality benchmarks that we got. Again, we went from 32 down to 21. So I know 2 sounds like it's not a lot, so we'll just roll with it, see what happens. Anything else, any other help on we'll just reach out to that gentleman right over there.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you. Mayor, if I may real quick, we try to meet every Wednesday at 9:30 at my office, with Derek and go. If y'all wanna give me a card, even if y'all are welcome, anyone's welcome to stop by. I'm sitting on this too.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Damon, do you mind to punch down the air a little bit? Sorry.
It's gonna work.
Oh, it's not gonna work? Well, we may have to raise some windows.
You might tell
Okay, Jason,
Okay?
let's rock along.
Moving on to the next sheet, which is sanitation. This is the most innovative budget of all the departments because we have an opportunity to enter into a lease buyback program for 6 vehicles and totally change out our fleet and have a monthly budgeted lease amount and be able to rotate these vehicles every 2 years, which significantly reduces the maintenance budget. Todd has put a pencil to that, and if we entered this lease arrangement, your maintenance costs go down approximately $120,000. The lease cost for the year is $480 a year. So essentially, with $120,000 saved annually in maintenance, the 5th year is essentially free. You're saving the cost of the 5th year in those first 4 years in maintenance savings.
We talking about all of the big trucks?
Yes.
Everything?
I'm sorry, I didn't, let me make sure I heard the question right.
We talking about all the big trucks? We're
We're
talking
talking about
about,
6, we're talking about 3 of the residential trucks and 3 of the commercial overhead trucks.
How many do we run total right now?
We're running 6, 3 commercial, 3 overhead, 2 roll-off, 5 boom trucks, and 1 rear load residential truck. And then I'm still doing some cardboard pickup with 1 truck until we kind of look at how we're doing with that. These 6 are the revenue generators, the most demanding, the commercial business accounts and the residential accounts.
Well, one of the things that you mentioned is just the maintenance, right? And as these vehicles are newer with more technology, it's harder to maintain in-house, right? And so with this program, the company maintains the vehicles, right? And every 2 years.
This is a lease, the truck's never be able 2 years old, they're always under warranty. Now, we'll still be responsible for tires and glass, batteries, and so maintenance. But even these trucks, the way I have them priced, all we have to do is put they got automatic greasers on them. The guys go out, check the oil, put a tube of grease into the greaser, it automatically greases them, and keep it full of fuel again.
so you're talking about 3 commercial, the big bins that you
Yes.
load over.
Those
You're
are what
talking
I call
about
the overhead.
3
and 3
residential.
of the sidewalks. Yes, sir.
How old are our current trucks?
Got one of the newest truck got here about the time I got here. So, got one overhead truck and 1 sidearm truck, 2.5, 3 years old, about as long as I've been here. The rest of them will be, and some of them was bought a year or 2, had a year or 2. They bought them from other municipalities that had programs, buyback trucks is what you call them. And there are several cities close to us that are doing it. Batesville, I've got a list here if anybody wants to see it, be welcome to call them. Just the diagnostic software for these trucks, we've never got far enough along to get into that. It's just unbelievable, the training and what that costs to support these. I just think it is something, I've been pushing for this since I got here, but it is something that is coming. Nobody can hardly work on these things.
What do you have a breakdown of what your average maintenance cost on a single truck is?
Got it lumped in as a total with a, yeah. I know, the older a truck is, the more you spend on it.
Are they all running DEF?
Yes.
All
We do have a couple, we
Yeah.
have 3 roll-off trucks retired that are.
Diesel
that are
exhaust
green now.
fluid. That's the main thing that's gonna go wrong with the truck. Even a new truck. I mean, you have major problems with that.
Oh, and well, I went through this, no, it's getting better. 10 years ago and 15, and when all that hit, you almost had to buy an extra new truck just to have a spire enough to keep these new to keep trash picked up. It is getting better. And I don't know, one year it can be Freightliner, it can be, they're all working hard. And so I mean, I have really no, any company that's doing, any of the majors is doing better with it right now. They kind of changed back, but they are getting better at it.
So is the big decrease of $195,000 rounded up, is that the reduction of personnel we need because we're not doing the recycling?
That, and he's eliminated 2 or 3 positions as well, out of the department.
Mechanics, et cetera?
That not been eliminated yet before season, yes, we won't be replacing, I'm not firing anybody,
Phasing.
but we're not, we don't, some of this will be phasing out, attrition going out. And then, and we have lost some throughout the year that we've not had to replace.
And this 101,000 capital going out is what?
That is the cost of replenishing annually these dumpsters and bins that we
Come every time and ask for money, just kind of, this is a number that I feel like just will keep up, replace, and just, it will, don't get caught having to do a whole bunch.
It's one of those items that we've put into the budget to hopefully annually just set aside that money to replace those things.
It's like the cars for the police.
Exactly.
A lot of that's not replacement, it's additional, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's good.
Right,
That's
exactly.
good.
Growth, and then, these cans, I guess the city's been doing this for probably 12, 15 years. We're gonna have to start thinking about a 6 or 8% changing those out. I mean, they get dropped a lot and banged around pretty good. About 20 years is about all you can expect out of one of these cans.
So I lost something, 101,000 is what?
That's to replace trash bins, dumpsters, as they wear out. Because I know 3 times since I've been here, we brought an invoice to
Yeah.
replace 400 bins or,
But that,
Roll-off boxes.
roll-off, all that.
Commercial,
well,
commercial
I'm
cans.
still confused because it says the budget for 26 is 0. What am I missing? That makes it look like we're not buying any of them.
He moved
Yeah,
around.
that is just an error on my spreadsheet here, Mr. Chalmers.
Okay, sure about that.
The capital ask would be to install this lease program essentially, then add the 100,000 for the bin replacement. And
Up
then,
above. Add it up above as opposed to
above.
capital.
yes, and then the maintenance goes down, about 120,000 a year according to his estimates. And if you did not do the lease program, by my estimates, if you replaced a couple of trucks a year, just to kind of keep the thing rolling, you're gonna spend close to 750,000 just to buy 2 trucks. And then the maintenance goes up back that you're gonna be up in the $800,000 to $900,000 range in expense if you kept things the way they are, as opposed to going.
I'm all in favor of lease because we can keep our vehicles more current. And yes, I know, we can run past 5 years and not have a lease payment, but I'm comfortable with that.
It allows y'all to have a consistent budget, to know right revenue and expenses. And I know we're throwing around the term lease, but it's a guaranteed buyback.
Guaranteed buyback.
Okay, just to clarify that.
Yes, they guarantee you to purchase that truck back at the end of the 2 years. And we actually have the option of financing that truck or buying that truck at that time. But we also have the option of sending those out and getting 6 more in, which is, I've been wanting to bring this since I got here. It's just, as hard as trucks are to work on, and just getting a mechanic up here sometimes can take a week.
We need to do the latter.
Y'all know how the phone rings from traffic.
And there will be, this is switching gears just a little bit away from the trucks, but there will be anticipated costs for relocation of sanitation to East Line Road. And so that will hit where those anticipated costs, which I know there's still a lot more due diligence to take place to rework the plan and get that cost down. Will that just be coming out of unappropriated reserves when that time comes? So that would be an
Yeah,
ask,
that'd be
a project cost at that time.
set aside to do.
Okay.
Todd, we had talked about the need or possible need at one time for an assistant manager for you. Did you budget anything for that, or how did that fall? Do you,
No,
okay.
How did we handle that number? It's, a portion of that is included in.
A portion of that is included. The difference between that, the cost for an assistant director should the need be seen to fill that, and a supervisor position that's currently there. So we put the difference in cost in there.
That is included in
And
the budget.
personnel cost, that
Yeah.
is in the personnel
So that
cost,
is worked in.
difference.
On that note, not actually on that note, but on personnel note, insurance, did costs go up on our insurance?
Yeah.
That's coming.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we've got a,
Oh,
yeah,
I'll wait.
Yeah.
that's a big topic.
Yeah.
Very big topic.
Okay. Any other questions for Todd or Jason on the sanitation at this time? All right, thank you.
Next page is the clerk's office budget. No change there other than the personnel. We're moving one person out from the mayor back under to me. And then I have reduced the amount of money that we've been paying to Blancett and Associates. I'd like to take over that reporting in January and just do that for you as opposed to spending that money. I can do that. But there is no additional change there.
You have a note here, Jason, that there is some budgeted funds in the case that we need their services.
Right, I'll let 10,000 there in case we needed them to help with some issue. The city attorney's budget on the next page has $20,000 added to it. Will is asking for funds to pay for a relief prosecutor as needed. It is not, with the $100,000 I was telling you about, in the way the court revenues are calculated now, there will be an additional like 94,000 over the past year that would have been in our general fund had they been calculating it the way they're doing it now. Act 8, what is that act?
371.
Act 371 that went into place August 4th, took away the need for cities and district courts to pay for the salary of the judge that's done by the state now. So there is a 50-50 split between the state and our court. And so once the 50,000 goes, in previous calculations, they had mandated a way for us to split a very small amount, around $23,000 between the county, which was the bulk of it, 16,000. We were around 5,000, and then there was a little pension check for the judge. That 5,000 amount changes in the new calculation. It's all over the place depending on the size of the check that's deposited each month. But I did a year's worth, and it came out to be like a $94,000 difference. So $20,000 additional funds are definitely going to be there.
And that's not a request for me, to be clear. That's not any sort of a payment to me. That's a request for. I want to make sure perfectly clear. It's not a salary request or a compensation request to me.
Will is the lead prosecutor, like when you have conflict of interest, maybe can't prosecute a case?
No. For the most part, we're able to handle that through the county. But I mean, there's 55 court dates a year, and I went with COVID 3 months ago. So, I mean, the perfect example is that. Like, there's just no one else, and we had like 5,500 cases in 24. I think in 25 we're tracking to be just under 5,000 cases. And so it's the same request I made at the end of '23, going into budget '24, or maybe it's '22. This is the same, and I withdrew that request because we were trying to find, I forget what year that was. We were trying to find some money in the budget, but with the court generating new revenue, I'm able to make the request. It's not money to me, it's budget neutral, something to help there.
But where the 20,000 line item added to be used for a relief prosecutor, is that in supplies? I'm not following.
Yeah, that's.
I asked for that to be changed too.
Yeah, I'm working on the description of the account. I'm trying to find the menu to change descriptions. It's buried deep within the accounting system. I'm having trouble locating that, but I will note that better.
So you're just gonna be able to hire a substitute prosecutor, is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Like if you want to come do the court for me.
I've got enough of mine.
Yes, sir. That would be money that is there for me to, because every now and then you can get someone from the county office to stand in, but that's a professional favor. That's not something that you can count on anyway.
We kind of skipped over district court earlier because you wanted to let Will explain. Can we circle back to, at this point? So can I ask Ms. Linda a couple of clarification? So $894,265 is the budget request for 26. The county provides 1/2 of 2 people's salary, is that correct?
I've not delved into that breakdown number. It's the same as it was when Ms. Maddox retired and I stepped in. Yeah, there's a small percentage, yes, but what we are in county government.
Yeah. So, and you had mentioned to us, I think last year at this meeting, maybe it was in December, but last year, you had given an estimate of percentage of cases that were CERC cases that you handled versus non-CERC cases that you also handled. So can you update that percentage?
Off the top of my head, from what I recall, the county cases still, they generally run a little higher. I believe Mr. Moore has it there. The county cases generally run a little bit more, a little greater than the city cases.
So 2024 city cases was approximately 51, almost 5,200. County cases were almost 7,000. And I'd have to do a little.
And that's 2020 what?
That was last year.
2020.
Year to date if you'll give me 5 minutes and let him keep talking, I can give you year to date 25 numbers. I just need to sit here and do a little math.
So
would you say the county number one more time?
Call it 7,000. So 5,200 and 7,000.
Thank you. Sorry, Ray.
No, I was just, I mean, I don't think I'm going to shock anybody when I say that I think that's a little lopsided. $894 for us and about 80 for them. And I understand they provide the building, they provide the electricity, and they provide a bailiff. I still think it's 894 to 80 plus that still is a little bit lopsided. I mean, has anybody else want to weigh in on that, you're welcome, but I just think it's, we bear the vast bulk of the expense, and it's 60-40 at best to the county side. I think they're getting a heck of a deal.
Ms. Wiseman, how many total clerks do you have in your department?
Total, including civil and small claims,
Yes, ma'am.
probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Give me a second, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay.
Are you guys are not are you moving to?
We're not
or
moving,
you're
no, sir. We're remaining in the same building.
That's on our to-do list, yeah. Thank you.
So, I'm assuming we pay insurance and everything on these? Okay.
Another thing, if I might reference back to the way the court costs is just, because they asked me if we would just continue the same way until we get the agreement finished, is send them the 16,000. So I think that could be negotiated down. It's just a matter of the judge and the treasurer coming and having an open meeting with us and talking about that.
Your year-to-date numbers through the third quarter were about 3,400 city, 5,400 county. So that's the same, roughly the same proportion.
Think we
All right, thank you. Any other questions? We get to move on.
All right, next is planning and development. We had the personnel changes a month or two ago there. There is a request to potentially replace a 2007 truck that they have in their department that they're patching together with duct tape and what was it? Bubble gum, yeah. But I think you wanted to talk to them about the structure of his department today.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm here, I just would like to request an adjustment in our salary line for the planning administrator position. So back when the council approved the position, the job description was intended to provide support for me as a department of 3, along with our grants coordinator. We were going to be down in the Pyatt building, and some days I wondered what that would be like if that was the case, but kind of miss thinking about being in that building. After the position was filled, though, the planning and development department, as you know, was formed and then increased to a department of 7. We took on those additional responsibilities: permits, inspections, business licenses, private club permits, etc. And then when Jeff left to become the maintenance director, he took Marilyn with him. And she, if you all probably all know Marilyn, she was the assistant for the permits and inspections. We decided then not to backfill her position. Instead, we were going to just have Gabby and Madison, who is existing in the old code, to fill those responsibilities that Marilyn had left, along with all of the other responsibilities that were in that original job description as planning administrator. So she's taken on a lot more responsibility that was written into that original job description and really has performed above and beyond my expectations. So I'm requesting an additional $1.77 added to her 26 hourly pay, which would bring her to $22 an hour. That's in line with pretty much the original amount I asked for when we originally created that position. And it's also in line with other peer planning positions in other municipalities. So including ABRS and FICA, this would add just an additional $4,528 to my annual budget. As you can,
$4,500, how much?
$4,528. Our department, as you can see, is considerably under budget. We're about 9% under budget from 25. And it still would be considerably under budget with that included. So I think it's a small amount and worth your consideration, the job and the responsibilities that Gabby has taken on for our department. To me, she's worth every penny. We're lucky to have her, and I really would like to keep her as long as possible. So with that, I can answer any questions.
She worked 40 hours a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Even with this increase in here, your budget change, I'm not following that, the negatives and everything.
I am under budget by about 9 point something percent,
9.2.
9.2, I'm under budget from 25. If we add, which is about $69,722 below last year's budget. So if I'm adding an additional 4,500, I'm still probably 8.9% under budget.
Is most of that due to Maryland's salary not coming out of this, or
No,
what is
sir.
it? Where is it from?
There's a couple reasons for that. Some of it, we were creating a new department, so we were probably a little, we budgeted in probably a little bit more than what now that we've operated for a year. So our fuel line is quite a bit less. We had a 50,000 line for contract labor that was intended if Debbie would need decided we don't really need that, in the budget. We kept 10,000 in it just in case for that. Well, we actually currently have a contract labor person doing some scanning for us right now for our files to get them all scanned digitally. So we did keep about 10,000, but that's like one of the big chunks that are creating the big losses. We reduced that contract labor down by $40,000. And I believe there was actually some roof repair monies that were in there that obviously aren't in there. These aren't good, brand new for you.
So Maryland's salary never was part of your
It was never part of
department.
my 25
It didn't
budget.
get to that point. Okay.
That's right, it was never part of my 25
Okay.
budget. When she left in 24 to 25, when we were talking about the department, there was discussions on do we refill her position?
Yeah, I understand.
And so that's when we decided, well, we'll see how it goes with the planning administrator position and if she can step in and they can carry those responsibilities together, so.
So you had expenditures from 2025 that were not utilized, therefore you took them out for this year?
That's right.
Contract labor?
Correct. Yeah, in our line, I think it's the same as what I've got, those big, the big green numbers are our big deductions.
Any other questions from the council? This amount is not currently worked into the budget. so
Yeah, that's
this-
what I'm
yeah.
requesting, we did not put it into the budget, so just wanted to make a request to see if I could get the blessing to put it into the budget.
Okay, the next department is the IT department. No change there, actually, he's got some, budget savings in his communication expense and, support dollars that are not needed. There is some increase in some service agreements, that are going to increase, but outside of that, the only increase in his budget is, again, the personnel dollars that change.
You skipped Public Works
Oh, I did?
on our sheet.
Oh, it wasn't stuck to the other one, I'm sorry. Public Works. Again, the big change to that budget department is the addition of the $80,000 that Mark showed us at the last council meeting to add the maintenance of the right-of-ways, for the RDOT land.
It is included.
It is included. That's added to that.
I have a little heartburn over that. I just don't know why we should be maintaining their right of way. Other than it looks better when we do it.
I think it's the gateway to the city, and if they're not gonna do it, I mean, we either have a choice to do it and make it look better or not. And I would personally, I think it looks horrible.
It does look horrible. So is there no room for negotiate? I was driving, this weekend back from Atlanta, and I passed a couple towns on I-20. I wanted to pull in one of them to understand how they're funded, but my wife said, you're not welcome to city taxes on the weekend. So I kept rolling. But, have we investigated that deeply, Mayor or Richard? I don't know, there's gotta be some, I can't imagine all
Well,
those cities are paying
there's,
for that.
there's options. I mean, that would be, I guess, going to what, 8 times a year? Right, they're currently at, make sure I get this right. They're currently doing it 3 times a year, and this would take us up to 8.
I mean, this
But there's
town had
certainly
like
options.
plants and like shrubs and like look really nice. Like if I had to pick that next to get gas for the next one, I think I'd pick that one.
Was this $80,000 we would pay RDOT, or is this $80,000 to pay our crew to go maintain?
This is $80,000 to pay RDOT, for their contractor to come in and mow.
And increase the frequency.
They do increase
I thought
the frequency, though, right?
I thought we talked about spraying.
Well, that would cost more to spray. I think the last time this was discussed amongst the council, it was discussed to back off the spray and do the mowing. But
This is just mowing.
Mark, they only will mow it so many times a year on their budget, is that correct?
So, 3 times a year on
But
their
if we
budget.
pay them like 80,000, they mow it and mow it all.
That's 5 more to mow. Instead of 3, we'll get 8, which is 5 additional mowings for the $80,000.
So to answer your question there, I think Mr. Carl mentioned that there may be opportunities to do like sponsorships. I think that was mentioned last time too. Or we could back off and not do it 8, you know, and you could space it out every other month or so. We kind of figured, I believe, Mark, 8 months were kind of the growing season.
Pretty well be growing.
Yeah,
And
so,
And this is the right-of-ways between interchanges and the interchanges?
Yes, that, I believe, if I remember right, I don't have it in front of me right now, was from exit 42 to the river.
and community service has been working on the fence rows. They've done a great job cleaning that up, but when you get the high grass around that, it's hard to see the work they've done.
Mark, this is the interchanges also, not just.
With the exception of the BB Caps interchange. That's a designated wetland, we cannot do anything with that.
Mr. Rainey, I understand what you're saying totally. If you don't mow your yard, or I don't mow our yard, man, in a black shirt there will write us a citation. You know, here we're paying to keep the state's property up, but I see the aesthetics of it also.
Well, I do too. Let's leave it in there for right now.
Jerry? No, sorry. Would you explain the capital thing again on Public Works?
Public Works, capital,
Just to replace one truck at 45,000.
yes.
How does that fit in with 123,250?
And I'm gonna give you these work papers that will show that.
Okay, okay.
There should be some other work in there also.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, there's
okay.
the floodplain study is in there as well, should that be in there?
That's not capital. And that one, we actually got a bill from this week, we may get that one paid off this year even.
Okay, so some of that could come
Okay.
off.
Okay.
But between the truck and the $80,000, that's your $120,000 increase here. Okay, we looked at IT. Anybody have any questions on IT? If not, we'll move to the maintenance.
Can I make one note, though? We do have budgeted amount, I know there's been discussion requests about like a public notification system that the city currently doesn't have, and that budget does include that. It does. So like the text notification for either emergencies or whatever, so special city announcements or holidays or whatever, so. Okay, thanks, Jason.
All right, on the maintenance budget, we have rolled the old cemetery budget into this maintenance budget, and so that mowing is reflected here. He's anticipating some increase in maintenance costs for his equipment, and we've got 82,000 in capital, 40 of that being a vehicle replacement. There's an autonomous mower that he's researching and looking at that potentially could run without a body there and save time. I know that I've seen these on golf courses that they shave tremendous amounts of money off of maintenance budgets and labor costs. So he's still researching that. I've got an additional 42,000 in there for one of these, but that's still not rock solid yet until he looks at that and gets us some better numbers on that.
Can they do interstate interchanges?
There you go. Just let them run all the
Keep
time.
one going all the
That's
time.
right, go uphill. Good call.
Tell you, we could fence it, put a few goats.
Just make it orange, right, so people see.
That's right.
Keep them on the highway. Yeah.
After the maintenance page, I have a sheet for the 0.5% fire tax budget and the Act 833 budget, just for your reference to see sort of what's been budgeted to come out of those two accounts. Those don't affect the general fund in any way, so don't spend a lot of time replacing an excavator, a truck, and a flatbed dump truck. But it is a considerable smaller capital ask than what was in the previous year. Also have the street fund behind that page showing what the street balance is projected to be after the budgetary expense and the capital needs. Might go down 100,000 or a little more.
Real quick, this is before we have a street paving program, right? And I know that there may be times we need to let that amount get to a certain level so that we can get a better cost. Is that right, Mark? Okay.
Mark, can we replace a flatbed dump truck for $60,000?
That would be taking our old bed off of our old one. That's the number I got from FEMA.
Be a used truck then?
It would be a used truck, yes, it would probably be a 50-year old, but it's in this picture. It's newer than our old truck.
That old truck looks like it needs replacing.
That one was bought about the first year I worked here.
It's ancient then, isn't it?
Pretty much, like,
Jason, do I recall that most of the department miscellaneous in the street is paving and such?
There are some, where do you answer that?
I think I already said miscellaneous.
The section labeled department miscellaneous,
In the streets?
which is a little more specific to the department. Yeah, there's budget items for materials maintenance, traffic control, street lights, drainage, paving, and that type of stuff.
Okay.
We did have 100,000 paving built into this.
Yes.
And it was, a lot of the others, like street signal maintenance, that's always quite a lot. Street lights, those are almost $250,000 a year. So, 350 actually, so there's some pretty big ticket items in that line.
Yeah, which the Janet intersection, that's one that we'll need to address very soon, or as soon as possible.
And the last department you have there is the airport. Got the Fund 12 behind that airport budget. Because everything except capital needs are funded within that fund, he does have one capital item that would be a request from the general fund, and that's for a side-by-side. For smaller work jobs out here. Be more convenient.
Is that a Mercedes branded side-by-side for $36,876?
That's what they sing these days. That is a Kubota diesel, the heavier model, because we have that heavier model. We'll all use the tow aircraft, also in that price. I don't have a quote for you that includes the snow plow, also for snow removal, which we rely primarily on the city for. But the city comes out there the runway and some of the taxiway and we're gone. This is help us out in other areas.
All right, it looks like from the 26 report that you've got excess revenue over expense by 136,000. So you're self-sustaining, but you're asking from the general fund is 36,000.
Yes, sir. I'll remind the council that one of the objectives for the airport is to build up that primary fund where someday they can be totally self-sufficient and not even have to rely on grants. We've tried not to touch those funds for the past several years.
So expenses are over revenue, though, right?
Just a little bit, yes.
36,000? Okay.
Okay.
The next page you have in front of you is a health insurance analysis. Mr. Cardinal asked about this earlier. waiting, anxiously awaiting the health insurance bill from Municipal Health. And we're surprised to open it up early this week, and there was a 25% premium increase for what we offer. And what is in the left column is currently what our cost would be with a 25% increase. It would be $1.8 million. We called them, asked them to come meet with us. We had a meeting with them yesterday morning, and we discussed the high deductible plan that they have, which has the $2,500 deductible, and the gap between asking someone to go from a $500 deductible to a $2,500 deductible. And I had the crazy idea that because the premium difference is so large, we could still pay for their $2,000 deductible and come out $470,000 ahead.
Good for you.
We're working with them on what they call a health reimbursement agreement, where we fund that on the front end, and they will pay that $2,000 out on claims, and our employees should not ever have to fight that off. We're working those details with them right now, so that it is not an impact, but they're gonna come do one-on-one education with each insured person, just so they understand the change and how it's gonna work. But honest to goodness, if we had put $1.8 million into this budget, you wouldn't have a budget this year. With this switch, almost $500,000 gets put back on the bottom line.
Mr. Neal, this quote is for the municipal league.
It is.
Municipal health.
And the deductible is the only difference you're
Right.
looking at.
The annual premium for a low deductible plan is this $8,693 a year. If you switch everybody to the high deductible plan, it goes down to $4,300. It's just insane. And you can add the $2,000 deductible, and you're still over $2,000 less than what they want to charge you for a low deductible plan.
Do they do that with other cities and towns?
There are health reimbursement agreements. We asked a lot of questions that they had not encountered before on the way we wanted to structure it. And he was texting back to people who asked if we could do it on like the health savings account card. He didn't know if that could happen. They said yes, it could. So a lot of things fell into place that they're going to be able to work out the details.
And save us $470,000.
And save you
So instead of having a 25% increase, it's a whatever that is, a reduction.
Yeah.
Your health costs.
While maintaining the benefit to our people where they're still only at a $500 deductible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome work, Jason.
That was.
I don't know, but that, to me, that's,
Since this is the space I work in, I'd be more than happy if you ever need me to tell you what's going on around the state, the other cities, that kind of thing, because I deal with this every day. I'd be more, if it's appropriate for me to
Absolutely.
pull me in on anything, I'll be happy.
Absolutely.
I know
So
some
there's-
cities, there's been several more cities that have pulled away from municipal league, and they're, Fort Smith, City of Fort Smith is one, they pulled away and did a different deal.
We have priced it with other companies multiple times, and everybody's been hired.
as recently as last year.
I see them every day, it depends on, there's a lot of factors in that, but,
The fact that we have a $500 deductible
yeah.
is a big factor in that. And
Right.
some companies don't even sell that. You know, that it's unheard of in the private industry to have a $500 deductible.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when we price, we try to compare apples to apples, and we have a $500 deductible right now.
When I'm
So-
seeing reference-based pricing, I'm seeing local health systems cutting different deals with their local municipalities and counties than they do with the insurance companies, those kinds of creative things, so,
You're saying like the city of Searcy making an agreement with Unity
yeah.
or Arcare.
Well,
so.
for the business it's healthcare, but for the business that goes through that system, they have a different set of pricing for those that employee base, as sort of a, as our municipalities, I'm seeing those kinds of creative things the past 2 years. But you've done a great job. Yeah, we'll have to.
And the last thing on the agenda is a grant list that we've generated for you. It was asked what is currently out there versus what has been applied for, and those two numbers are at the bottom. We're working through a lot of grants from like 23, 24 that should be closing out soon, but we've got almost $6.7 million on the horizon coming up that we're waiting on responses to the grant award.
Jason, do you have a figure there that would represent our portion of that 6.6 million grants? I know they vary, so.
Yeah, each line is different. You've got
Oh, I
some
see,
there.
yeah, you have it on there.
We would have to figure out, make the percentages line by
Yeah,
line to get.
that's okay. That's fine.
All right, good job, Jason, and thank y'all.
Very good job.
Excellent.
Moving forward, you said you have the detailed budgets that are available packets.
I've got a packet of work papers for those who want to take the very granular, broken down, line by line stuff on with you. If you have, as you look at the stuff, as you have some questions, please email me. I'll track anything down with the department heads and work through some adjustments and try to get us something better.
So you're gonna email that out, is that what you just?
I've got it right here. I'll reach out to you.
Hey, do you wanna give an explanation? What is this? We didn't talk about that at all.
Yeah, El Puente and Child Safety Center.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I didn't have a letter from El Puente, but these are two nonprofits that support the city with services. So El Puente is one of them, and so it's a $10,000 request. It'd be similar to like Humane Society or Main Street Cersei. Kim, do you mind to ask that?
The deductibles and how we're doing things, I know we have a lot of employee, I say a lot, you know more than I do, but I know there's several firefighters for sure that have their family on the plans. How does that work?
We have 202 people currently on the plan, 25 of those carry their family. So, on the traditional plan, which is a $500 deductible, the family deductible is $6,000, which would take several family members, more than most people have on the plan to meet it. The $2,500 high deductible plan is $7,500. 3 people would have to meet it. If God forbid the whole family was in a car accident together and they all, had to be taken to the hospital for treatment. So 6,000 to 7,500, most of them are never gonna meet that 6,000 because they don't have 6 people or whatever.
Yeah, the statistics they gave us on usage was how many people only had the $500 deductible. Was like,
133, was that it?
yeah, it's.
Out of about with the ones that carry dependent coverage, we insure about almost 300 people, I believe she said.
So not even half of your people used up to their $500 deductible.
And
So.
133, I think, something like that.
So if we funded the extra 2,000 deductible, that would be money we'd get back if they don't use it?
Correct, that would be
Okay.
pooled, that's part of the health reimbursement agreement.
Okay.
With, they say, fully funded on the front end, and then as adjustments are made, because it won't all be used, you wouldn't have to.
So next year, we would have a lesser funding.
That's right.
That's right.
Historically, yes, that's the way it should be, so.
Jason, you mentioned this a minute ago, but if council has time to review in detail, please submit any questions, email them to you.
Yes.
Is there a certain date that you would like to have that back by? That gives ample time for the council to review.
Take a couple of weeks if you like, or sooner.
Okay.
Just that you're,
Yeah, so.
when would you like to have the
well,
budget finished?
Before the end of the year. I mean, we could make it a discussion item at the November meeting, and so any questions that you have between now and then we can get the details and discuss it at the November meeting. And then if everything irons out, then it looks like maybe at the December meeting we could vote. Does that sound like a good plan?
Which would give enough time to have payroll calculated.
Yeah.
What you're saying in November meeting, we're talking about the agenda meeting?
Yes, the agenda meeting, correct.